And we're back with another monthly movie reaction, this time for February, and we are going to be reacting to Dune. The first Dune movie came out in... let me try and find when this came out, I don't know. 2021, so it's not that old of a movie, but we are going to be watching it. From the people who I know are in this, I know Timothée Chalamet is the main actor, I know Zendaya is in it, I know Jason Momoa is in this, I know Oscar Isaac is in this, I know Dave Bautista is in this. It's a big cast. It's a star-studded cast, and I can only imagine... Apparently this is like a remake of a very old version of this movie, which I have not seen. I didn't even know about that until recently. So, yeah. So we're going to be watching Dune. I know there is a part 2 to this as well, so after I've watched this movie, that movie will be going onto the polls as well. So vote if you want to see that movie. And yeah, currently I'm recording this for my $10 tier patrons, of which I have none. Zero. Nada. So yeah, if you're on YouTube watching this, then that means you are going to be seeing this intro and the after movie review that I do. So yeah, if you're at all interested in what I'm about to watch, then you can see little clips of it on YouTube starting right now.
Give me water.
Whoa. Your dreams of Zendaya. You're not alone there. You want it to be a pilot. You know what? Just in my head, I've been thinking like it feels Star Warsy this, and then Oscar Isaac goes and says he wants to be a pilot. It's Bautista. I recognise that walk and that head shape. This is a star-studded cast. Okay. My fucking god, lad.
My desert. My Iraqis. My Dune.
Okay, so it's been a couple days since I watched Dune, and I feel like I've digested enough of it to try and give a review right now for you on YouTube. So yeah, I enjoyed my experience of watching it. I think like the sound I think that like the designs of everything is amazing. It's like it's so futuristic, very Star Warsy in a way. Yeah, it feels a lot. It doesn't feel it's sci-fi, but not fantasy sci-fi. It doesn't feel like it definitely feels like it's from. It definitely feels like it's got that Star Wars vibe. Yeah, it's not got that flair of Star Wars, if you know what I mean. Like with the designs of the ships and everything, it's not so eccentric as stuff like Star Wars would be with the strange shape. I mean, the ships were strange shapes in this, but not so strange shapes as like a Millennium Falcon or an X-Wing or a TIE Fighter. They were all very simple shapes in terms of the ships. I think they call it the Thopters, look like dragonflies. So that was nice, going across the desert. Nice touch there. But yeah, the score was amazing as well. I really liked the score. I liked the designs and the scores, and the acting across the board was amazing. And I'll get into the characters and the actors that played them pretty much right now. Okay, so we'll start off with Timothée Chalamet playing Paul Atreides. First of all, what I've got to say is, it's such a futuristic world, the year 10,191, and yet our main character is called Paul. Just Paul. And we've got Jessica, Leto, Duncan, and stuff like that. Such simple names. You can tell people's advancement with names. People haven't got very imaginative with their names. I mean, Atreides is a kind of futuristic name, but why Paul? But okay, yeah, never mind. So, Yeah, Timothy Chalamet. This is probably one of the first big exposures I've had to Timothy Chalamet. He's not been in many stuff that I watch, mainly because as a lot of people who watch my channel would know, that I'm a, I'm very I'm very limited in the space that I inhabit with the movies and the stuff that I watch. It's a very specific genre, and Timothy Chalamet has not really dipped much into that genre, so my exposure to him is very limited. But for a first impression, I think he's a great actor. Definitely a good actor. And now I find myself wondering why he hasn't dipped his toes into that world that I inhabit with the movies. But I assume he's got a reason for doing such, or not doing such, should we say? But yeah, my first impression is a decent actor, very subtle with his with how he's portraying his emotions, very subtle, which also comes with the character of having to appear regal all the time, because that's a very essence of royalty thing to do, is to not show your emotions on your face when out in public. And so he's inhabited that, he's grown up in a life of basically royalty, and as a result he's learned how to hide his emotions quite well. But when they come out like that scene in the tent with Jessica later on, after his father had died. I suppose I'm just confused on a lot of stuff about him, like he, like the Bene Gesserit's interest in him, the use of the voice and stuff like that, his visions. I suppose I'm just confused on a lot of things that I hope get answered in part 2 about him. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. I'm looking at the cast on. I just googled Dune cast just to try and get their names, and just as I was thinking, like when I had my expectations of this movie, I expected Zendaya to be a co-star alongside Timothy Chalamet. Where the hell was she in this movie? And the flash and the visions don't count. She didn't show up. It's a 2.5 hour movie. She didn't show up until the last 10 minutes. But I suppose when these actors signed on to do this, they were signing on for more than one movie. And so Zendaya was probably like, oh nice, I'm getting a nice paycheck for the first one that I'm only in for a few minutes, and then get to be a big part of the second one, I assume. I mean, I assumed a lot with this movie in terms of the cast, and I was proven very wrong. So, yeah, not much to say about Shani. Shani or something like that. Yeah, not much to say about her, just the fact that she appears in his visions, and if his visions are to be true, which we've got evidence to assume that they're not, and are at the same time, so it does seem like Timothy Chalamet's it does seem like Paul's visions, some of them come true and some of them don't, because, well, we've seen one come true and we've also seen one not come true, but time will tell whether or not the vision he had of her stabbing him will come true. So, yes, I eagerly await watching Dune 2 to discover how this relationship will go between them, because she clearly doesn't have the same visions that he does, because she seems to not know who he is or not care who he is. So it's clearly not a two-way connection. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about Shani. Next up is Lady Jessica. Jessica Atreides, played by Rebecca Ferguson. Once again, expertly played. Rebecca Ferguson's a great actress. where Paul is in the room with the Bene Gesserit, and he's experiencing the pain with his hand in the box, and she's outside, like shaking and trying to reassure herself that everything will be okay. And after the reveal of the pregnancy, how she's just shaking like a leaf and she's barely able to contain her emotions. Once again, the whole growing up in royalty thing, having to hide your emotions most of the time, and when they break out bad. Yeah, I suppose I'm confused about some things going on with her as well, which will come up later. Is what connection did she have to these Bene Gesserit priestesses or something like that? We saw a little vision of her with the Fremen blue eyes and tattoos all over her face. Is that Paul's vision of the future of the baby that's coming? Possibly. I suppose. Actually, I'll get on to the next character before I say. Have I got anything else to say about Jessica? I tell you what, I was because like obviously there were people I knew who were in this. Like I knew Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, Batista, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya. Obviously, I knew all of them were going to be in it. For some reason, it completely bypassed me that Rebecca Ferguson was in this movie, and I tell you what, because of that, I did not know how long she had. I did not know if she was going to be in the second one or not. I was fearing for her safety for pretty much all the second half of this movie. I was like, oh no, she's going to die, she's going to die, she's going to die. I was hoping that she wouldn't die, but I was fearing for it. And they kept that level of intensity going, because honestly, just because besides being pregnant, I don't know what she offers to the story. I don't know what she offers to Paul's story or the story in general. So I kind of view her as like a spare part. I was like, why do we need her? So when anything dangerous happens, I'm like, oh god, she's gonna die, she's gonna die. So that was my feelings behind that. But now I wonder what part she plays in part 2. Because she wants to leave the planet just so that they can get allies for what's going to be happening with the Emperor and everything like that after the siege and the takeover that happened in this movie. But Paul has decided to stay here in the desert with the Fremen, where she seemingly wants to leave and gain allies. So I wonder if that tension will show up later. So, yeah, that's all I have for her right now, I believe. I don't think there's anything else that I can really talk about with that. But, yeah, I think that's all we have for her. Okay, so then moving on to the other parent, Oscar Isaac, Duke Leto Atreides, played by Oscar Isaac. Gone way too soon. I did not expect him to go out so soon. I mean, I know it was almost at the end of a 2.5-hour movie, but once again, it feels so soon to lose him, and it feels like a kind of waste just because I didn't get a true sense or true experience of the family dynamic between them, just because once again they're always playing that part of royalty and of a royal family and not showing their emotions that much, and as a result I didn't get much of a family dynamic between them on how much they cared for each other, so it was hard to get attached to the family dynamic. I mean, I was able to get that with Paul and Jessica, just because after they had a lot more in private moments than Paul and Leto did. So I got a lot of sense of him as a leader, as like the Duke and the person governing the settlement that they were at. but I never got really much sense of him being a family man, a husband, which he apparently isn't, because he didn't marry Jessica for some reason. And I didn't really get him as a dad to Paul, because once again, the only times we really see much of them is when he's doing his public appearances, and he can't portray that kind of emotion during those times. So yeah, it feels like we lost him before we got to see his relationship with everyone else. And once again, Oscar Isaac. How tragic to lose a great actor like that in your first movie. And in a kind of humiliating way as well. He was just paralysed there, stripped down naked, and then having to poison himself just to try and kill the Baron, which he then failed at. And you got a sense of him as a leader, as a good man as well. Like he sacrificed himself to try and kill the Baron. He piloted down there he broke protocol to try and get those people from the crawler onto the ships when the sandworm was coming. He gave his word to Stilgar that the Fremen wouldn't be harmed as long as he was in charge. That's obviously going to change now. Yeah, it just feels like we lost him way too soon. Same with another one. Jason Momoa, Duncan, Idaho. How did we lose him so soon as well? It felt like quite unceremoniously as well. Yeah, I feel like you definitely could have stretched his role out over the next few movies. And he's one of those instances of Paul's visions showing true, because he actually did die like the vision of him dying came true, fighting off those soldiers just so that Paul and Jessica could get away. But yeah, feels like we lost him without much fanfare at all. Yeah, gone too soon. Gone too soon. Because he was definitely striking as the badass loyal bodyguard soldier, which, to be fair, that's what a bodyguard would do. He would lay down his life so that the people he's protecting could get away. He would do that, but you could have saved it for another couple movies, couldn't you? I mean, yeah, it probably would have hurt even more if that happened, but how are you going to lose Jason Momoa after one movie? It's sad. Don't want to lose Jason Momoa. The other soldier of the core group, Gurney, played by Josh Brolin. I didn't know that one either. He was another one who passed by my radar, just like Rebecca Ferguson did. I completely didn't know he was in this. And yeah, playing the regular role of completely stern, never smiling soldier bodyguard type who takes major offence at any perceived slight against the people he's in charge of protecting. Yeah, once again, just like with Jessica, because I didn't really know much about him being in this movie or the next movie, I thought he was going to die during that sandworm moment in the desert with the crawler. I thought he was gone. I thought they were going to kill off his character real quick. But no, he's survived. The ones I knew about, Oscar Isaac and Jason Momoa, they killed off. But the ones I didn't know about, with Rebecca Ferguson and Josh Brolin, they're keeping around. Because he is not dead. I did not see him die. I will not. And this movie, yeah, it may have demonstrated just a complete lack of care about discarding Oscar Isaac and Jason Momoa, but I do not feel like they will kill Josh Brolin off screen. They won't do that. They won't kill Gurney off screen. If they're going to kill him, they'll do it on screen where it can hurt, or he escaped somehow, because the last we saw of him, he was running into battle when the Harkonnens, I think is their name, he was running into battle when they attacked, and we didn't see him after that. So, either he's been captured, or he escaped. Because I do not believe he's dead. Yet. Yeah, I believe we're keeping him around for number 2. For now. Then we'll move on. We'll move on to the villains. Stellan Skarsgård. He's another one. I didn't know he was in this. And he plays an absolutely disgusting character. The Baron. For some reason, someone who can just float off the ground. For some reason. And just so... I don't know how to describe it. So, just not nice. It's just not a not nice persona that he portrayed. And just a completely uncaring, sociopathic disregard of everything. Yeah, just killing the doctor who helps. The doctor betrayed the people he was serving and delivered them this place. He delivered them the Duke himself, and he just cut his head off. And not only that, he was doing, like, I'm kind of guilty of this myself, but he was just doing this thing where he was like, where he was still eating. That it was triggering. It was like you can tell this guy just. It's very Denethor in Return of the King. He's just eating so disgustingly. I was like, mate, you're just unpleasant. It's just, yeah, it was just unpleasant. He was like, I was like, this, nah, it's nasty, bro. It's nasty. And then the greatest tragedy of this movie is that he didn't die painfully. So he's being kept around for the second movie. Hopefully they kill him even more painfully than the poison would have been, because he deserves it, I think. Yeah, nasty. He's a nasty motherfucker. There is also his nephew as well, Raban, played by Batista, who is just the muscle commander of the enemy forces. That's basically what he is so far. I feel like we need more time with him to discover more about that character. I mean, I don't want to discover more about the Baron's character. I don't want to, because I don't want any more time with him, even though we have to. But I do want more time with Raban, because I feel like we need to learn more. The Baron presents himself as someone who is willing to make deals to get something that he wants, whereas Raban definitely feels like the type who will just go in and take it himself. Because he definitely struck me as the type who's like wanting to just lead an army back to the planet they were on. I can't remember what the planet was. Arrakis. Yeah, he was definitely the type who just wanted to lead the army back to Arrakis and take what he thought but he believes belongs to them. Whereas the Baron is more calculating about it. He's like, okay, we'll make deals, we'll buy armies, we'll make alliances, and then we'll go back and get what we want. So yeah, we need more time with that. Someone else who completely bypassed me, I didn't know was in this movie, David Dastmalchian. I mean, he's dead now, so it doesn't really matter that he was here. But yeah, he was here. He was there. He died. He's gone. So yeah, I didn't know he was in this, and he's not anymore. Other characters of note. I don't know what the hell the Bene Gesserit are all about. No idea. I don't know what the voice is. Is it like the Force or something? Like, what part does Paul play in their grand scheme of things? And why do they seem to hate males, apparently? So, to be fair, you probably got the best male, because I have not seen a more feminine looking male lead in a long time. If you wanted a female, you probably got the most female-looking male you could get with Timothée Chalamet. Yeah, no idea what they bring to the table. I assume we'll find out more later. Any other characters that I feel are truly worth noting? Thufir or something like that. Thufir or how or something. Basically, the head of the guards or something like that. He disappeared. No idea where the hell he is. Don't know what the hell's going on with him. Goodbye. I wonder if he'll come back at all. Herald of the Change. Don't know what the hell happened there. I mean, dead. I know dead after the whole stuff in the desert when putting the thumper down, attacked by the assassins, worm comes and swallows them all up. So yeah, Herald of the Change, dead. Nothing else to say about that. And I suppose the only one left is probably Jamis, who Duncan, Idaho might be the thing that proves that some of Paul's visions come true with his death. But Jamis's death comes with the twist that some of them can be wrong. Because Paul just started having visions of Jamis, like, a friend will guide you the way, and he has visions of Jamis, like, saying, I'll teach you in the ways of our people, and stuff like that. So he's like, so that puts it into the audience's head, like, oh, he's gonna be a friend that we meet later on, and he's gonna help guide us through the next few movies. No, we meet him. He doesn't like Paul. He doesn't like Jessica. He wants to kill them. Paul has to fight him. Jamis dies. So yeah, now we're just thinking as an audience, well, fuck, this guy was supposed to help us, and now he's dead. So yeah. The expectation gets put into our head like, oh, this guy's going to be a friend, we're going to like him, he's nice. And then he turns out to just be a dick, and he dies. So, yeah, that's it. So, yeah, now Jessica and Paul are with the Fremen. They're going to where all the Fremen live, apparently. And we have caught a glimpse of one of the Fremen riding the sandworms, the great sandworms, through the desert. I wonder, like, that's amazing power, but what the fuck is going on? Yeah, I suppose I'm just left I'm left with more questions than answers. I'm probably left with more questions now that I've finished the movie than I had when I started it. I feel like, despite the fact that it was a 2.5-hour movie, I didn't get enough context. I didn't get enough lore to understand nearly enough of what they wanted me to see. I'm just left very confused, and I hope that part 2 can answer some of my questions. Anyway, I've been going long enough now. I've been going nearly half an hour with this review, so yeah, that is going to be me for this movie review of Dune Part 1, and hopefully Dune Part 2 will be coming soon. It depends on if it'll get voted for in the Patreon polls. So yeah, that is all we've got for this monthly movie review. Until next time, we are over and out.